Hey everybody, welcome to another video. So normally I speak while I am recording. I'm trying to do voiceover now because of where I live. So as you can see just a moment ago, I showed you on screen the tools I'll be using for this plan with me. I'm keeping it very simple. I'm using a Sharpie pen and a yellow highlighter. And I decided to go with a very simple concept for this spread. I basically am combining two different themes. So the first theme is what I'm grateful for, and the second theme is yellow highlighter. Now, as you can see at the top, you have Monday through Sunday listed. I do not do Monday to Sunday spreads, and I will be listing the days of the week at the bottom of that gray area. So before I go ahead and write the days of the week on there and the dates and everything, I'm just going across the center of each of these gray boxes with yellow highlighter. Honestly, this part of the spread did not really turn out the way I thought it would. The yellow highlighter on that gray background, it doesn't pop the same way. It's not quite as pretty, so to speak, as I thought that it would be. But aside from that, I am happy with how the overall spread turned out. So the next thing I'm doing, like I said, is writing my dates and my days of the week at the bottom of those gray boxes. When I got this planner, I love vertical line planners. Like this is probably what I'm going to stick with for a while, because it's really important to me to be able to do hourly planning, but this also has enough slots in it that I can do 24-hour planning if I need to, because when I got it, I was still working overnight, and, so having a 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. spread didn't really work for me. But anyways, I swore when I got this planner that I was going to cover up those top dates and days of the week that I'm not using with washi tape, or I was going to white them out, or I was going to cover them up with stickers and make it like part of this cool design. And I pretty much haven't done that. I've pretty much just been ignoring that top part. For one thing, I am really not good at getting my washi tape on there evenly. I am terrible at it. Putting just plain whiteout on it just felt kind of cheap. It might not have looked bad, but it still kind of bothered me in a sense. And then trying to cover it all up with stickers just got too complicated. If I have to spend that much time planning how I'm going to do a planner spread, I know a lot of people are fine with that. To me, I like to just come up with my concept, figure out what I want to do, maybe make some decisions while I'm actually planning, and that's pretty much it. I don't like to do this whole thing where it takes 30 minutes for me to decide what I'm going to do with the page. I'd rather pick my utensils that I'm using, pick my sticker books that I'm using, all that kind of stuff, and then just do it. Now we are coming up to a spot where I made a little bit of a mistake in filming, but for right now I'm just going with my yellow highlighter, and I am marking out hours to represent different things like work, gig work, blogging, filming, all that kind of stuff. My schedule for those things, for blogging, for filming, for editing, all that stuff, it's really weird right now. One of the reasons I started doing voiceover for my planning videos is because I'm really restricted when I can film just because of my roommates. So I'm really having to kind of work around that, and it's been a little bit difficult. The yellow highlighter I do love. I love some good yellow highlighter. It looks good on the page. I think it looks good going across the whole page, as you'll see for the spread. And there is my little mistake, by the way. I stopped filming because my cats were making noise, and I went right back to it, and I forgot to turn the camera back on. So that was fun. But anyways, as you can see, what I've done is basically just gone over with the yellow highlighter to block out the time for certain things, and then I'm just writing in with my Sharpie marker, or Sharpie pen rather, what each of those yellow boxes represents. I do like using the yellow highlighter. It was a little weird using it on the vertical line planner because I'm used to using, if I use highlighter at all, a zebra mild liner, which is kind of perfect for getting right in those lines. With this one, it was kind of hard to get full coverage of each line without going over or bleeding through. Based on where my camera is, it's very difficult to notice, but there are some that look a little bit sloppy. And as you can see for the rest of the spread, instead of just marking with highlighter and then marking with pen immediately after, I decided to finish the rest of the spread by marking everything I needed to mark with my yellow highlighter, and then going back through with my pen and writing out what I needed to do. I feel like this kind of hourly planning um, notations works great for my vertical aligned happy planner, and I really like the way it turns out usually. But at some point, since I will have some things that are a bit more time specific, I may start at some point writing in what the actual hours are as opposed to just blocking out a certain amount of hours. Going forward for me, I just think that makes a little bit more sense. But of course, planning in this or any type of planner really just depends on what makes sense for you. What's going to keep you the most productive, or if you're more of a decorative planner, what's going to be the most fun spread for you to do. Those are really the things that you should be thinking about if you're thinking of making a change to how you plan. Is it going to make you a better planner? Is it going to be more fun for you to put together? Is it going to help you get things done? Is it going to make you feel more accomplished? All of those things. Um, but also, the other thing to think about when I think of how I might change how I plan, I do want to start incorporating themes. This is really the first one I've done where I've stated what the actual theme is for the spread. And I want that to be a more normal part of my planning. I want each weekly and monthly spread to have a theme. It might be a very simple theme. It might be a theme that, there's only a few pieces of decoration towards that theme on the page, but I want it to have a theme. So I am excited to start doing that, but the only thing is I'm not really sure how I'm going to incorporate the hourly planning or mark my hourly planning in a way that still makes sense for that particular spread and for that particular theme. So I may have to get a bit creative with how I do some of my hourly planning going forward in a way that still helps me keep productive, still helps me look at my planner and know exactly what I need to know with a quick glance. But how can I accomplish that and also still be in sync with the theme? So those are the kind of things I'll be thinking about going forward. Alright, so now I am done with my yellow highlighter on the page, so I'm just going to go back through with my Sharpie pen and mark these in. This Sharpie pen was a gift. So I really can't tell you what store to find it at. Most of the times when I see Sharpie pens, I see like those clickable ones and things like that. I haven't really seen that particular pen anywhere. Um, but honestly, it's kind of a mixed review. When I first got it, I loved it, but I find that you really have to like hold it a certain way or it just doesn't look good. It looks like it's running out of ink if you hold it too much to the side a little bit. And I don't like that. I like a pen that I don't have to be careful about how I hold. I can just write. So it's not the greatest, but it's definitely not a bad pen to have either. Um, and then as you can see, I don't know how well you can tell, but there are a couple of words here that I kind of messed up. The spelling and everything is okay, but they just look a little bit sloppy to me, which I hate. Overall, I think the spread turned out pretty well, but that's just one of those things that if I'm looking at a spread after I've done it, kind of drives me nuts, and I do have to admit it is a little bit distracting. So over here for Saturday, I've got two work shifts. I'm working the same job, it's just a double shift. So that line in the middle kind of represents my 30-minute break in between. And now I'm going to go back up to those gray boxes and answer the question that's over there in the top left. I guess it's not really phrased as a question, but what I'm grateful for is what I'm writing down. So the first thing I wrote was my two cats, which is kind of ironic because they made the filming of this video extremely difficult. They were constantly distracting me and playing with things and making noise in the background. It's a good thing I was already planning to do a voiceover for this video, or I would have been really irritated. The next thing is my health. My health isn't the greatest, don't get me wrong, but, it could always be worse. I'm not confined to a wheelchair. I'm not constantly in and out of the hospital. I'm not constantly on medications. Um, have anything right now that is killing me or deteriorating my body. So those are things that we really take for granted. Wish were different about my health or that need to be addressed in my health. I am grateful for a lot of things regarding my health. My room, I'm just renting a room. You could also put, of course, your place to live. It's really not very homey yet either. There's plenty of things I need for my room that I don't have the money for. So my room is definitely going to be changing a lot over the next few months, but I am very grateful to have it. The next thing I wrote was my channels. That means my YouTube channels. It's just a great form of self-expression, and I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy the time I have to put into it. But my channels are really not where I'd like them to be, and I don't always have as much time as I'd like to dedicate to them, but it's still fun. The next one is my blog, which is kind of a similar concept. I just enjoy the self-expression. It's just therapeutic and fun. The next one is my job. I have one part-time job that kind of became a full-time, and I'm basically doing gig work besides that, which is really not enough to bring in, but it's better than nothing. I listed is my phone. So again, that's something that I feel like you just take for granted, but there's so much I do on my phone. Of course, how we use our phones is way different than how we used our phone like 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. You know, you do so much more on your phone than you used to. It's something that's very useful. It's not just about texting and making phone calls anymore. So much of our lives are on our phones, and I'm grateful for this little device making certain things easier throughout my week. And then the last thing I'm doing is writing down some due dates and paid dates. For some of my due dates, I couldn't remember off the top of my head what's due that day, so I will go back in and write those down. And that's all I've got for this video.